What happens when a pope dies? Is the next pope already selected? To choose the next pope, the Catholic Church follows an ancient and highly structured process called a papal conclave. This tradition has been in place for nearly a millennium. The term conclave comes from a Latin phrase called cum clave, meaning with a key, referring to the practice of locking the cardinal electors in a secluded space until they choose the next pope. In the first centuries of the Church, popes were often chosen by the clergy and the faithful of Rome, sometimes with the input of nearby bishops. However, as the Church gained political influence, external rulers, particularly the Holy Roman emperors and powerful noble families, began interfering. To counter this, Pope Nicholas II issued the papal bull In Nomine Domini, 1059, restricting the election of popes to the College of Cardinals, eliminating direct involvement by secular rulers. However, political disputes still plagued the process, leading to schisms and rival claimants to the papacy, such as during the Western Schism when multiple individuals claimed to be the rightful pope. Today, when a pope dies or, in rare cases, abdicates, as Pope Benedict XVI did in 2013, the interregnum period begins. The Camerlengo, the papal chamberlain, confirms the pope's death using a ceremonial process. This once included tapping the deceased pope's forehead with a silver hammer, calling his name 3 times. The Vatican then enters a period of mourning known as the Novendiali, lasting 9 days, during which masses and prayers are held for the late pope. Meanwhile, preparations for the conclave begin. Now, once all eligible cardinals, those under 80 years old, have arrived in Rome and participated in pre-conclave meetings, the conclave officially begins with the extra omnes, everyone out, command, ordering all non-electors to leave. The cardinals then walk into the Sistine Chapel while chanting the Veni Creator Spiritus, a hymn invoking the Holy Spirit for guidance. They take an oath of secrecy, swearing not to reveal anything about the election process, under penalty of excommunication. Voting begins shortly after the conclave starts. Each cardinal writes the name of his chosen candidate on a secret ballot, folds it, and places it in a special chalice or urn on the altar. The ballots are counted and checked to ensure the correct number before being read aloud by scrutineers. To be elected, a candidate must receive a 2/3 majority. If no one reaches this threshold, the ballots are burned with a special chemical to produce black smoke, signaling to the outside world that no pope has been chosen. If a pope is elected, the ballots are burned without chemicals, producing white smoke to announce a successful election. Between voting rounds, the cardinals remain in strict isolation, lodging in the Vatican guest house. They are forbidden from communicating with the outside world. No phones, no internet, no news. If repeated rounds fail to produce a pope, adjustments may be made, such as allowing a simple majority vote instead of the 2/3 rule. Once a cardinal is elected, he is asked, "Do you accept your election?" And upon acceptance, he chooses a papal name. The new pope is then dressed in white vestments and led to the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, where the Habemus Papam, "We have a pope," announcement is made to the world. Major reforms came after the longest papal election in history, the 1268 to 1271 conclave, which lasted nearly 3 years and finally led to the election of Pope Gregory X, who, in response to the crisis, established strict new conclave rules at the Second Council of Leon. These rules mandated secrecy, continuous voting, and isolation of the cardinals to prevent outside interference, laying the foundation for modern papal conclaves. One of the most famous traditions of the conclave is the smoke signals that inform the world of the election's progress. The ballots are burned after each round, producing either black smoke meaning no decision yet or white smoke where a new pope has been elected. The most dramatic moments in conclave history have often involved these signals. In 1958, for instance, confusion arose when grayish-white smoke was seen, leading people to believe a pope had been chosen when the voting was still ongoing. More recently, in 2013, Pope Francis was elected in a swift 5-ballot conclave, following Pope Benedict XVI's unprecedented resignation, the first voluntary papal abdication in over 600 years. Despite centuries of reforms and modernizations, the conclave remains one of the most secretive and sacred events in the world, ensuring that the Catholic Church continues its apostolic succession in an orderly and legitimate manner.